Welcome back to Hustle Hoops. We are coming at you today with our first lottery, NBA draft lottery. And right now we're going to proceed to the sim in just a minute. We're going to simulate the lottery with tankathon.com. But first I want to let you know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. We are going to start heating up the videos now. We are a week away from the lottery and kind of took a little break because after the season was over, wanted to kind of catch my breath, take a little break, and be able to hit everything strong because we're going to have the lottery sim is coming in. The lottery is coming in 1 week, and then we're going to have about 6 weeks of straight draft coverage up until the draft day. And then we're going to hit you up with some summer league action because I think I'm going to be out in Vegas this summer to catch a little bit of the summer league. So we're going to have all that. It's going to be in-depth coverage of whoever the Memphis Grizzlies get to select, whenever they get to select. I got a few hopes, but you never know what's going to happen. So this draft lottery sim should be kind of exciting. This little lottery simulation would be a good thing to do before. Next week we'll do another lottery after the order is completely set in stone. And I guess up to this week we're going to do some what ifs probably between now and lottery day. You will see it is approximately 1 week. Next Tuesday we will be having the lottery. It is the 8th of May right now, so we are 1 week away from the draft lottery, and people in Memphis are getting antsy because there's only so much discussion you can do on breaking these guys down. Man, we've broken down probably the top 10 or so guys ad nauseum in Memphis, the fans, the Grizzly fans, and I know the other lottery fans, especially the people that are in the top 10 or so, been breaking these guys down practically ever since the season went south. So there's not really much we can say. Everybody's got their favorites. Some people don't give a damn who they select. I have my favorite. As you guys know, my favorite player in this draft is Trae Young. I think he's going to be the best player in this draft, but that's neither here nor there. Whether he fits or not in Memphis is another thing. But the way I see it, when you have a guaranteed top 5 pick, which we do, fit doesn't matter. You take the best player available and keep it moving. But I will try to have my head into, when I do this lottery, have my head into the GMs of the teams as they pick, and pick the player that fits that GM and the team's needs and where that team is going right now out of the players who's available. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified. And we are coming up on our first giveaway. It'll probably happen on lottery day, and we might be doing a live sim on lottery day. I don't know. We're going to try to do a live sim a live on a YouTube live on lottery day. We're going to try to do that. Some kind of live we're going to try to do on lottery day and catch the action. Hopefully I don't get gut punched like I did during the Odin Durant draft for Memphis Grizzlies. But here we go with the simulation. Welcome to the 2018 NBA Draft Lottery Simulator. This is Hustle Hoops, and this is going to be the first part of our mock draft where we're going to actually use tankathon.com to simulate the lottery, to set the draft order in completely random order, and we're going to have that shown on the screen. And then from there on, we're going to pick for the teams the player that we think that is best fit for each team. So here we go with the draft lottery. Let's sim this thing. Boom. First pick, Sacramento, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Memphis sing the blues. Man, that would be really, really rough for me. Memphis at number 5, Orlando at 6, Chicago at 7. Sacramento is the big jumper here. So we are going to go from here with the mock draft. All right. With the number 1 pick, the Sacramento Kings select DeAndre Ayton, 7'1" center out of the University of Arizona. Now, a team like Sacramento, they have a lot of needs. They They need a star, most definitely. They have a point guard in De'Aaron Fox. They have some perimeter players in Bogdanovich and Buddy Hield. They have some young bigs. They have who they got: Scal, LaBCA, Harry Giles, Willie Cauley-Stein. They have some young bigs, but they don't have a signature big man that can score. I don't know how much faith you want to put in Harry Giles' recovery from multiple knee surgeries. They set him out for a whole year to make sure his recovery was on point. But when the opportunity presents itself to get somebody like DeAndre Ayton at the #1 pick, I don't think you pass that up right now. So I think that even though they would probably love to have Luka Doncic, they're probably going to pass on him and just take DeAndre Ayton, take the safer bet, and give De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich people to play, a big man to play off of offensively, because the rest of their bigs are not. They don't have the stature as far as the physical stature and the game of DeAndre Ayton, and I think he would be a good fit in Sacramento. With the #2 pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, I'm sure this is probably going to be a surprising selection to a lot of people out there, especially people who've been following the draft. And most draft blog sites and mock drafts have had Luka and DeAndre 1 and 2. But the way that the lottery fell in this simulation, with Dallas getting the #2 pick, I think Dallas would go with Jaren Jackson Jr. If you don't know, Dallas is a very analytics-driven organization, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the darlings of the analytics community. Also, Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the youngest players in this draft. I think he's the second youngest. I think Jonte Porter is a little bit younger than him. But as far as his fit, I think he fits a little bit better with Dennis Smith as far as future goes. And Dallas is probably a long way from being competitive, although they're going to have some cap room. They're basically just Dennis Smith and Harrison Barnes. That's all they have on their team. So they're a long way from being competitive in the Western Conference. So they have time to wait on Jaren Jackson Jr. to develop a little bit, take another dip into the lottery next year, and probably grab a scoring wing, because it's plentiful next year. There's going to be a lot of scoring wings at the top of the draft next year, so it would behoove Dallas to get them a defensive anchor, which is what a lot of teams are missing and a lot of teams need. And Jaren Jackson Jr. has shown the potential to be a defensive anchor, a potential defensive player of the year candidate, and he looks like he can be a 6'11" version of maybe Draymond Green, which would be pretty significant. So yeah, I think the Dallas Mavericks, if things fall this way, they will go with Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the darlings of the analytics community. With the 3rd pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic. Now, Luka Doncic's fit in Atlanta is not as seamless as it would be in other places, probably like Dallas or Phoenix or even Memphis, where he has a natural seamless fit. But he does have a fit, and he's the best player on the board, the highest rated prospect on the board at the point where Atlanta's picking at #3. I mean, Atlanta probably wants one of the guys that went at #2 or #1, DeAndre or Jaren Jackson, to play center next to John Collins. But they already have Dennis Schroeder locked up at point guard long term, and they have John Collins at power forward. And really the other bigs, Mohamed Bamba and Marvin Bagley, are probably a little bit too slight to play alongside of John Collins for, long term. And Wendell Carter is just not high enough rated to warrant drafting at #3, I don't think. You never know what could happen, but I don't think I would take him at #3. So they take Luka, and I guess they'll just work to fit in later. Don't know who Atlanta's coach is going to be, so that's a little bit more difficult. It's supposed to be the assistant out of San Antonio, I think, the leading candidate. Or is he the leading candidate? I think the leading candidate is the assistant from Philadelphia, Lloyd Pierce. So you never know what's going to happen. So Luka's fit. He won't have a ton of immediate ball handling abilities with Dennis Schroeder there. He'll have a defensive small forward next to him in what's the guy's name that's next to him? That's going to be next to him. Torian Prince. He'll have a defensive small forward next to him. So the fit can work out for them, and basically he's probably the best player on the board, and he's going to be a draw, and Atlanta needs a draw at the box office. With the fourth pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Michael Porter Jr. Now, this is another pick that is not an exact fit for Phoenix. Phoenix is probably at number 4 is probably a nightmare scenario for them, especially with the first 3 picks that jumped off the board: Aiden, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Luka. With those 3 guys off the board, Phoenix is just going to go do a talent grab right here to go with the future and hope they get a player in Michael Porter Jr. that's a good mix with Josh Jackson and Devin Booker. Although they need a point guard, there's no point guard that I could really justify them taking at number 4. Trey Jackson would be a fit there. Trey Jackson. I'm thinking of Josh Jackson. Trae Young would be a fit there, but I just don't see him investing in a backcourt of Trae Young and Devin Booker. Man, that's some scary defense right there to get Trae Young and Devin Booker in the same backcourt. Even though it'd be nice offensively, defensively, it would be very scary unless Devin Booker really upgraded his defense. Because Josh Jackson has the potential to be a good defender, but man, Devin Booker would have to be a plus defender for this to work out right for them. So I would go with Michael Porter Jr., somebody they can stick at small forward or power forward, and grow with their young guys. Hopefully, one of the other guys, Marquise Chris or Dragon Bender, develop at center, and they can go with the lineup of point guard Devin Booker, Josh Jackson. Whoever they're going to have as small forward, Michael Porter Jr. It's basically just a talent grab. They just get the best young player that's available, the highest talented, most talented player. And this is highly dependent on Michael Porter Jr. checking out healthy at the NBA Combine. If not, I think he will fall out of the lottery, most likely, like all the other guys like Harry Giles did. NBA is just not going to take a chance on a top pick with a guy with a back injury. So this is just depending on him checking out healthy at the NBA Combine. I'm glad he's going. Hopefully he'll share his medicals with every team and not just be selective. But, I couldn't blame him if he did only share his team with selected people. But, yeah, at number 4, I will go with Michael Porter Jr. for the Phoenix Suns. With the 5th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Marvin Bagley. Now, there is a chance that the Phoenix Suns would grab Marvin Bagley. He's from the area in Phoenix, that they would grab him at number 4. But I don't think that they would do that again after selecting Marquise Chris at a couple of years earlier. I think they would go with the guy that can provide a skill that they don't have already, an outside shooting Michael Porter Jr. But for Memphis, this wouldn't be the nightmare selection that I think Phoenix would be experiencing at number 4, because I know the Memphis organization is kind of high on Marvin Bagley. So they would welcome taking him at number 5, sliding him in at power forward next to Marc Gasol, and letting him do his thing as a rookie. And I wouldn't be shocked, and I'll say this out loud, I wouldn't be shocked that if Memphis drafts Marvin Bagley Jr. or Marvin Bagley III at number anywhere in this draft, depending on where they select in the lottery. If they draft Marvin Bagley, I wouldn't be surprised if he is their number 1 scorer next year as a rookie, and that they challenge for a playoff position. It's going to be kind of difficult in the Western Conference, no matter who they draft to get back to the playoffs, because as you can see, it took 46 wins this year just to make the playoffs. So they could be in a Denver Nuggets situation where they win 40, 41 games, 42 games, and still miss the playoffs in the Western Conference. Because the Western Conference is still going to be deep next year. It's going to be a little deeper next year, depending on how this lottery works out. But yeah, Marvin Bagley Jr., and I expect him to fit in seamlessly in Memphis. With the 6th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Trae Young. So, despite falling a spot in the NBA Draft in the lottery, the Orlando Magic probably get the guy that they wanted all the time. Trae Young is a seamless fit for them. He checks off a lot of boxes. It gives him outside shooting, point guard play, star power. I feel that he would work out wonderfully with Aaron Gordon and the rest of the bigs that they have there. They have a lot of bigs there already. They don't need another big. They probably need to get rid of one of the bigs that they have already. But Trae Young would fit in nice, and I think they got rid of their point guard from last year. So I think he would fit in and start day one. Hopefully they're smart enough to start him day one and let him learn on the job. Hopefully they can get his body together and, good enough to withstand a full NBA season. But yeah, Trae Young, Evan Fournier, Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, and whatever big that they pick, Nikola Vucevic, hopefully, to give Trae Young some targets to hit and run with. I think it'd be a good fit for them. So, yeah, Trae Young to the Orlando Magic at number 6. With the 7th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Mohamed Bamba. Now, Mohamed Bamba should be a great fit in Chicago. I know it's not the player all the Bulls fans wanted. The Bulls fans are getting pretty herky-jerky about Michael Porter Jr. falling to them at their projected draft slot at number 6. But with the way this draft is falling, didn't work out for him right now. Hopefully things change next week when the lottery is present. But we have you taking Mohamed Bamba at number 7 to be a shot blocker, to sit behind, protect Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and Chris Dunn. Those are the 3 mainstays right now. And to add a shot blocking center behind them who can learn for a year behind Robin Lopez, learn the ins and outs on NBA defense. Mohamed Bamba is a quick learner, very smart. Should be able to give him a year to work on his body, and he'll be able to start next year. And maybe they can, have, Bobby Portis come off the bench at power forward center, next year eventually. So it just depends on how they want to go with it. But I think that the backcourt of Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine is pretty good. It's all right. Lauri Markkanen is budding star, all-star. He's got a potential to be an all-star down the road. And to get a defensive ace behind them would be very beneficial, because they got quite a few defensive holes in their lineup right now. So Mohamed Bamba, number 7 to the Chicago Bulls. With the 8th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Michael Bridges from Villanova. Now, Bridges, or I would say the conservative Bridges, is probably going to be a safe pick for Cleveland here. He's a 3-and-D guy, prototypical 3-and-D guy. Now, I'm not as high on him as other people are. I probably, if I had the pick here, I would probably take Miles Bridges or maybe even Kevin Knox at this position. But I think the Cleveland Cavaliers would take Michael Bridges here, Mikal, however you want to say it, but I think it's Michael Bridges here. and hope that LeBron has some affinity in his heart for Cleveland still, which I don't think is going to happen, and sticks with Cleveland through free agency. But my gut feeling tells me that LeBron is out of here, and Cleveland will be looking at a full rebuild, and maybe Michael Bridges is not going to be the selection at that point. If they get any indication of where LeBron's head is before the draft, I don't think he'll share them. I think he'll try to screw them over as much as possible because of his feud with the owner. But yeah, tentatively scheduled here, I got at 8, Mikal Bridges, Michael Bridges, the Bridges from Villanova, however you want to say it, at number 8 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. With the 9th pick, the New York Knicks select Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter is a 6'11" center out of the University, Duke University. I think he will be a good fit next to Kristaps Porzingis, and it gives New York a year under David Fizdale to fix their backcourt issues. And when I say issues, I think they got to play the young kids at point guard that they have. They have to give them, I guess, a chance to see what they have in each one of them, in Moutier and the French guy, Frank Ntilikina, or I can never pronounce his name, so you just have to forgive me on that. But Frank N. It gives them a chance to find out what they have in them. And they also have another young point guard on their team, Trey Burke, that I think they're going to re-sign or bring back. And then they also have Troy Williams. So they have a lot of young players. And I expect them to let Kristaps sit out most of the year. I think Kristaps might come back the last month of the season when their lottery position is already solidified. And they can get, like I said, next year has a plethora of wings at the top of the draft, and in New York looks to be selecting at the top of the draft next year in 2019. So they can hopefully add a wing, get Kristaps Porzingis healthy, have Wendell Carter at center, somebody who could step out, play some defense, do some things, and Porzingis can block shots, protect the rim, things like that, weak side protection. And Carter has a little bulk to deal with the bigger guys, and Porzingis doesn't have to really waste his energy on defending the more bulky centers on a full-time basis. So yeah, Wendell Carter at number to the New York Knicks is the pick. With the 10th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Miles Bridges from Michigan State University. And I know the reason I selected this pick is because the Philadelphia 76ers, if you've seen in the playoffs, need a little bit more versatility out on the wings. They need some scoring on the wings. They need some athleticism on the wings to go with Robert Covington. They can't just depend on Robert Covington and, the guys that they brought in as free agent pickups at the end of the season, Bellinelli and Ilyasova. They have to get some more youth. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia trades this pick for, I don't know, maybe a younger vet, a future first. They really don't. I don't see them really needing to add not only the salary, but another young player that's not going to be able to crack their rotation. But you never know. Another good person here at this pick would be Jonte Porter. I think he'd be a good fit next to Joel Embiid, and a good backup, to play backup 5 also with Dario Saric on the floor to give him a lot of floor spacing with Ben Simmons, even though Ben Simmons is going to have to work on that shot this offseason. But somebody like that. But Miles Bridges kind of does the same thing. He gives them some a little wing defense, some athleticism on the wing, some bulk, able to play either forward position, give them some speed, running the court if he's playing power forward next to Embiid or Saric, who both could, who can switch to center. So it gives them some versatility. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded out of this pick, or for a younger vet, or a cheaper older vet, to give them some wing depth. But for right now, we got Miles Bridges to the Philadelphia 76ers. At number 11 in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Colin Sexton. Now, I know, there's been a lot of rumors about what the Charlotte Hornets are going to do with Kemba Walker. He'll be an expiring contract next year, be on the last year, $12 million next year. And I expect them to move him, trade him. I think there should be a very healthy market for him. And this might be one of those things where they could trade him to Philadelphia, for the 9th pick. That might be a good fit for them. I think even though Philadelphia doesn't really need a point guard that can't shoot, they need a point guard that can shoot a little bit better than Kemba Walker to put next to Ben Simmons or to put with Ben Simmons. It's been shown that even with the putting T.J. McConnell at a point guard next to Ben Simmons, that more perimeter playmakers always helps. And so it would be very, very beneficial to them to get Kemba Walker. I don't know if they'd be interested in something like that, but either way, I think the Charlotte Hornets are going to move Kemba Walker, and so they would be interested in getting a replacement in. Colin Sexton playing next to Malik Monk would be a pretty good little duo, nice young duo to build around as they kind of let these bloated contracts that they have on their payroll kind of wash away over the next 2 to 3 seasons. It's time for a rebuild in Charlotte. This team topped out as a low-run playoff team, and there's really no use in investing any more assets or capital into this group. This group is not really set to go anywhere. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist didn't develop as they wanted. Marvin Williams is kind of overpaid. Nicholas Batum took the money and left his game. So they really need to kind of just move along and just acknowledge that it's time to start a rebuild. And Colin Sexton and Malik Monk backcourt is a good addition. It's a good start to a nice, hopefully short rebuild. With the 12th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson kind of dropped out of Western Kentucky. I think he was going to try to transfer to another school or play in the G League, but was denied on both fronts. So he's been sitting out and working on his game, working on his body, getting ready for the NBA Draft, NBA Combine, and NBA workouts. One of the most athletic bigs in the draft. Has been said by some to be the best rim protector in the draft. Very athletic, runs the floor well, does have some semblance of an outside shot. But he seems like to be the perfect DeAndre Jordan replacement, a good guy to learn behind DeAndre Jordan, who's on his last year of his contract. I don't think the Clippers will be extending him. We'll probably look to trade him sometime next year. But yeah, he is kind of an enigma right now. Has a lot of potential. Don't know if he's going to realize that potential. It's hard for me to tell without seeing him in college and being able to talk to the young man. And seeing where his head is at, seeing what kind of basketball IQ he has. It's hard to determine exactly how likely he is to reach his enormous potential. So really at number 12 to the Los Angeles Clippers, we have Mitchell Robinson. With the 13th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Zaire Smith. Zaire Smith is, right now, he is basically just a ball of potential. one of the most athletic players in the draft, especially on the wing, one of the most athletic wings in this draft. But his skill level is not up to par, probably not even up to par for this being a number 13 pick in the draft. So you're buying on the come for him. You're hoping that his ball handling and shooting come around, and he is able to be a functional wing later on down the line. But with the selection of Mitchell Robinson and Zaire Smith, the Los Angeles Clippers increased their athleticism tremendously. Neither one is expected to contribute at year one. They can let them sit down, learn in the G League, and let them, kind of get their skills together in the G League, learning how to play the game, learning under the Clippers coach. I'm not sure if the Clippers have their own G League team. I think they do. I'll have to check on that later. But that's neither here nor there. They still need to go to the G League. Both of them probably need to spend almost the entire year in the G League and work on their games, learn how to play NBA basketball, be able to get some reps in, some minutes in. Zaire Smith because he's such a late bloomer. Mitchell Robinson because he sat out an entire year of college basketball and cannot afford to play 5 or 10 minutes behind DeAndre Jordan, this season, or just sit on the bench and look at the games and get a lot of DMPs. He needs to get some reps in, and that means he needs to be starting on the G League team and get those reps in. So at number 13, we have Zaire Smith to the Los Angeles Clippers. With the 14th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Kevin Knox, combo forward out of University of Kentucky. I think Kevin Knox would be a good backup to have behind Paul Millsap. Kevin Knox gives him a combo forward. I think he's going to be best used in his career as a power forward, like a stretchy power forward. Able to take other power forwards off the dribble, long, able to defend these unicorns like Ben Simmons, the Greek Freak, and other guys of that ilk, these 6'9" to 6'7" foot guys that can handle the ball, shoot from the outside, take people off the dribble, and play power forward like Kevin Durant, the Kevin Durant prototype. He'll be able to give them somebody who they can hopefully mold him into be a guy that can defend them, not only defend those guys, but also keep those guys engaged on the defensive end by being able to spread the floor, take guys off the dribble, contribute on the boards, and do things like that. Kevin Knox has the potential to be a guy that can check off a lot of boxes, in the box score, get you some rebounds, some assists, some 3-point shooting. Play a little defense, do a little bit of everything. Fairly athletic, able to run the floor, and he won't be counted on to start immediately as long as they have Paul Millsap there. He's got 2 years to learn under Millsap, and then he should be able to step right in at power forward next to Jokic. So if he steps in, being able to benefit off the passing of Jokic, should be able to increase his offensive effectiveness at power forward. So at number 14, at the end of the lottery, we have Kevin Knox going to the Denver Nuggets.